welcome to the Grateful Anglers Podcast. I'm Big John.
And I'm John Bondi. And today we're going to talk about getting your rig ready for the season.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming faster than we thought, isn't it?
Well, it really is. And actually, there's last weekend was weird because there were guys getting limits of walleye on the boats, and there were also guys ice fishing. I think up in Simcoe, they're still ice fishing up there. So we got the best of all worlds down here in Ontario. And
first, let's mention the open house coming up here at Bondi's Fishing Shop, March the 9th at 8 till 4:30. We're going to open up the back. We're going to have some tables back there and all kinds of people to talk fishing with you. Come on down, 3796 County Road 17 in Maidstone.
Gonna be lots of good info at this show, guys, and your tackle store is going to be fully stocked. You got so much new stuff here. Just a great time to come on down, guys, and be a nice little meet and greet. And
a week later, we're going to have seminar night on the Friday the 15th. We're going to have Mark Campo and myself doing seminars, so that'll be a good time as well.
Two great fishermen.
One.
Mark. No.
Mark.
No.
Anyways, Mark is seriously a master troller. You're going to learn a lot from
You're going to have the best of both worlds because you're going to have Mark for the trolling and John for the jigging.
I'll think of something to talk about, even if I just have to make it up on the fly. But
yeah.
What do you do, Big John, to get your rig ready?
Well, guys, some of the things, it never really ends, but during the winter, I'm always thinking, like, okay, first thing I do at the end of the season, I start thinking, okay, is there anything I got to replace? Is there anything damaged that I need? Like, and those are the items that I'll take care of first. But other than that, it's the general maintenance, like your wheel bearings, your battery maintenance. A lot of guys don't know this. But if you're not running lithiums, you really got to check all your cells on your batteries on your deep cycles and make sure they're topped up with distilled water, because if you don't, you could burn your cell out and run a shorter life on your batteries.
It's happened to me.
Yeah, and now it's a little different because I'm still running old school batteries, but John's running the lithium, so those are a sealed battery. I don't think there's any maintenance on those, eh?
No. I tell you what, though, as you become an experienced boater, I don't know how many boats you've had, but the more boats you've had and the more experiences, good or bad, that you've had in your life, that list becomes longer and longer on things that you need to remember to check every year.
Yeah.
And new boaters, they don't even think of a lot of this stuff. So a lot of this is targeting new boaters who, I never thought to check that, or I never thought that was a problem. So some of the things we're going to talk about here, it could help everybody, really.
I think one of the most important things before John's created a whole list of things he wants to talk about, and I kind of just do it on the fly, guys. As he talks, I think of other things. But the one thing I do want to mention before you get out on the water, check your insurance. And make sure that you're covered through the layup season. The layup season usually runs, I believe it's from December 15th, and it usually goes till the end of March. And a lot of people don't know that. But if you don't have an extended premium or an extended policy for that season, then you're not insured on the water. So and read your insurance too. Even if you have that policy, nobody's really covered for ice damage, so kind of be smart about what you do out there.
I gotta think of some other documents that you should probably check before you go out, and that's your fishing license. Has your fishing license expired? Michigan, Ontario, whatever. Check on that too.
I'll give a little tip for all you Canadian guys with the Michigan one. I'm not sure about online, but I know if you want to go in person and get your Michigan license renewed, you got to do it in between March and April. Like if you go February, they won't renew it yet. I tried that last year. I like going there because you get the small card. Otherwise, I got to keep a full piece of paper from the printer in there.
Because theirs expires end of March.
Yeah, the end of March, but they won't let you renew it till March, between March and April. So, just a little tip.
So, other things that can expire on your boat are fire extinguishers, and you got to check to make sure that they're properly ready to go. But flares.
flares.
A lot of people don't know there's an expiry date on your flares, and I've found them to be expired on my boat. So stay on top of that. The flares, you know, they check that when you get pulled over by the police, and that they often will look and say, hey, what's the date on them flares type thing, you know what I mean? And the right number of flares too. You gotta have the correct number.
Yeah. And another thing before we get too far ahead, John, I don't even know what John knows, but I think we got 976 subscribers to the Grateful Angler.
Almost at 1,000.
Thank you guys very much. We love it. We're having fun with it. And like I say, we don't get down here every week to do one, but when we do, it's a lot of fun.
You know what? One thing, since I started my guide service, I have this list of all the safety equipment. I need extra stuff on my boat, but I have this list of all the safety equipment, and I go through that list every year to make sure everything's proper. And a lot of guys don't even check their life jackets. You know, they stow them in the front of the bow underneath the tarp and stuff like that. You should go through that stuff. Make sure you got all the stuff, because bad things happen quick.
Yeah.
You don't want to be searching around for your jacket. You know, bad things happen fast. So check all that safety stuff, because I can guarantee if the OPP pull up, they're going to want to see it. So just get all that stuff in order and know where it is.
And just like Johnny's saying about the list, I'm a truck driver, guys, and when it comes to my home life and my boat, I kind of have a little list, and I do a little pre-trip every time before I go fishing. Not only before I go fishing, but the night before I go fishing. Just in that sheet, I got everything jotted down, right from rod holders to downriggers to, and that tells me, okay, yeah, grab that, throw that in the boat, because there's so many times that you could forget. I mean, for you, it's a little different because you guide, everything's on the boat all the time, but for a guy like me that only gets out once or twice a week, I gotta load the boat every time I go, and I got that little pre-trip, and in that pre-trip, it also has checking all my lights, you know, and your connectors. You might want to put some grease in your connectors and electro grease, and you know, because that's always something that goes.
Let me ask you this: your lovely and gracious wife, does she know your plan for the day, where you're going?
Yeah.
Sometimes you fish by yourself.
I generally do tell her. Whether she's listening or not is another thing.
Right.
But I try to make a point of telling her, and you know, we always have correspondence while I'm on the boat too. When you get a chance in between fish,
they
or
found
whatever.
more than once. They found empty boats out here.
Yeah.
Floating around on the lake.
Yeah.
Not knowing what happened to the individual, and you know, you don't want to run into that. You know, a lot of people think you're safe on a boat. You could easily slip and bump your head. You could slip and hit your head in 2 seconds. You're unconscious just for a moment. You're in the water. That's it. You're done. You know, so things happen fast. I know at least 4 people personally that have drowned. And
you're in the water this time of year. You're not surviving.
No,
you know,
it is hard.
Yeah.
You know, you fall in, you're in serious trouble this time of year. So I wear a survival suit.
Yeah.
That's the best investment I ever made. But and you know, there's safety stuff too. First aid.
Oh, is it that cute little blue one that you wear?
You like that? First aid kit. First aid kit.
It's baby
I have
blue.
2 first aid kits on my boat. How many people have first aid kit? And the other thing too, know how to get a hook out. Yeah. You go up north, you get a hook in your arm, you can ruin a trip. You know.
Yeah.
I remember watching that show Alone, where the people were left alone in the woods, and a girl hooked herself. She was catching all kinds of trout, and she hooked herself and had to leave the show. And I'm looking at this hook, and I could get that out in 2 seconds. If she had a piece of fishing line and knowledge, it wasn't even in a bad spot. It was just, you know. And she had to leave the show because she didn't know how to get a fishing hook out. So you don't want to ruin your up north trip or something like that because you don't know how to do that. You come by the store, I'll show you how to do it. It's easy.
We'll put the hook in you and we'll pull it out here.
Yeah, we can do it real quick.
Actually, I think I got some B-roll. If I do, guys, I'll throw it into this video of Blake getting the hook out of my finger. You guys can see, but she's in deep. I gotta get it out somehow.
It's not that hard. As long as you don't get it in a sensitive spot or in the eyeball, it comes out quite easy.
I just had a little hook in there. I had a little, I mean, the razor, I don't know if you ever run flicker minnows, but those hooks are razor sharp, and that's what I had. I mean, I think
I could show you a video of me getting a hook out of a muskie treble out of my customer. I can show you how to do it right there. We popped it out in 2 seconds. He didn't even feel it. But anyways, let's move along here. First aid kit, essential. The other thing I never go fishing without is sunglasses. You get a
Yeah.
boy, I tell you
I
what.
forget my sunglasses.
You
a
get
lot.
a bait swinging back at you, or somebody casting from behind you. Sunglasses have saved my butt more than once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like one time I was in a fishing tournament.
You had a hockey helmet on.
One time I was in a fishing tournament, and the guy I was with snagged. He was using a bullet weight, and he snagged in the weeds or something. When he started yanking that thing back, it came free, and it shattered my windshield.
Wow.
You get that thing in the kneecap or in the eyeball or something, you're done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So sunglasses are definitely a must. I tell all my customers, don't come without sunglasses on, my kid or whatever. Eye protection's crucial, and you don't think about it till later, you know.
Well, you're preparing to go out. Do you ever tell your customers? This might be a little bit off topic, but do you ever tell your customers to watch what you eat the night before because there's no number two out on the boat, or?
No, but you know what? You know, this is off topic too, but you know what I've been telling them? If you're coming to Windsor, most of them come from other parts, you know, you better book your hotel like 6 months ahead of time right now.
Yeah.
Because the hotels are crazy in this area because all the development and 1,000 people, you know, thousands of people are moving here. You need to get your hotels booked if you're coming from a distance.
Airbnbs are good too, guys, because then you get somewhere to park your boat, and you know. But anyways, that's off topic.
So safety gear, first aid stuff. One thing guys don't check is all the mounts. You know, it's not fun to, on my boat, I know it's not fun to stick my arm up under that fiberglass deck, but you got to check your trolling motor nuts.
Yeah, they loosen.
Well, guys think about the big engine. That's very important. But that trolling motor, get them nuts checked under there. You get the screwdriver on top. You get the wrench underneath. I'll guarantee they're loose. If you've never checked them, I'll guarantee they're loose.
If you could feel one of those screws starting to strip, when you get it out, replace it. Because it's going to be 10 times worse the next time you go to try tighten it.
Absolutely check that. The propeller. Make sure there's no braid around that propeller.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of water in there, and it's happened to me. I've destroyed the guts of a lower unit because water got in there. And also that can happen to the trolling motor. A lot of guys don't check that. Take that prop off there, check the line, braid around that trolling motor. I've had that almost every time I check it. I got braid on that.
Well, what else you got on there,
Tell you what, this is a huge one. You will sink if your hose on your bilge pump comes off.
Oh, yeah.
And that's happened. I would get under that. It's the worst. I hate digging in the back of my boat, poking around under there. Check all them connections. Your live well pump, your bilge pump hose, where that it's just a little hose clamp. Those things aren't on there good, you know.
Guys,
check that. Make sure that don't come off.
People think that their live well hosing could be indestructible, but guys, you could sink a boat by having bad
any of those hoses.
So what I do is I keep 3 plugs on the boat. If anything ever happened where I seen water coming, I could plug those other 2 holes in the back of the boat and until I rectify the problem. But that's something to keep in mind, that live well plumbing, you got to make sure you get all the water out of there before winter.
What about your trailer?
Trailer, yeah.
You're the big truck driver. Let's hear some tips.
Well, I like greasing the bearings. Make sure
don't over grease.
No, yeah. Make sure all your lights are working. A lot of times you'll hook your boat up and you'll see that you got one light that's not working or one blinker that's not working. First, take a look at your connector and make sure all the tabs are out a bit. Sometimes you gotta get a little straight screwdriver in there and just pop them out so they're touching. But electro grease, put a tube of electro grease in your truck, and every now and again give that connector a little bit of electro grease, and that helps keep your lights going. Most of the lights nowadays are waterproof. Like I remember the day everybody said, "Oh, you got to unplug your lights to back in." I never unplug my lights.
Well, they're LED nowadays. So you shouldn't have a problem. But I tell you what, I would say 95% of the time I've had a problem with the lights. It's the stupid ground wire.
Yeah.
Either it's been rubbed clear, the plastic housing is off the wire somewhere, or if it's not super tight on that trailer, almost all the time, that's the first thing I check is that ground wire, and something's gone wrong with it. You know, it's hanging there, and it's not exactly strapped on there to it. All that wiring is just bouncing around there on the road. Sometimes I've had them come unhooked, and the things are dragging on the ground. That ground wire, man, is a must to check that thing all the time.
You know what one thing is to check after you're done fishing on your trailer? When you unhook, make sure you unhook that little cable that controls your trailer brake too.
I've done that. I've left that hooked up. I've done it. Popping that thing out of there. Oh man, I hate that. I hate that. I'm very cautious. And they say you should put that on last. You hook your chains up, and then that thing goes above it.
Yeah.
So that thing is hanging free, you know.
Yeah.
But the trailers, man, check your spare tire. How many guys you got a spare tire? Jimmy Lucas gave us this tip. How many times have you had a flat and that spare tire isn't full?
Yeah.
Check that spare tire on your trailer. It's just as important as anything.
I actually have my spare tire on my trailer right now, and I just took my tire in last week. Actually, Slater Tire. They're not in LaSalle anymore. They're in Windsor now.
Is that right?
Down on Parent Street, and they still do great work. I went in there and they fixed my main tire, so I got this weekend. That's one of my projects.
They must have better parking now.
No, the parking.
You used to pull over on the side of the road there.
Yeah. They're in. I think it's that Spring Shop on Parent Street. They're in there.
They've helped a number of people, including myself, stuck at the ramp in LaSalle with flat tire. You know what I mean?
Great people.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you this: How many have you gone through your toolbox for your boat?
The toolbox on the boat. Yes, I you know what? Okay, I don't have an actual box for my tools on the boat, but they're in my storage, and I got everything from, probably the main one I use is a star screwdriver, not only for the boat, but for my inline boards, offshore boards. I'm always tightening things up there. Your dipsies, there's different things that.
You know what's a big one?
What's that?
Fuses.
Fuses,
20 amp fuse, that there's usually a 20 amp fuse in your outboard. If you got a bigger outboard, there's usually if you got a new outboard, usually a spare where the fuse is. There's always a spare mounted inside your engine. A lot of people don't know that's there, but I tell you need more than that. If you have some kind of misfire or some kind of loose connection, that 20 amp fuse, you'll go turn the key and it's just dead.
Yeah.
And having extra fuses on that boat saved me more than once. One time I was in Ohio.
One time you were in band camp.
No. So I noticed Big John is repping the Starcraft stuff here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, John, I love my boat. I love my Starcraft. And it's not the first Starcraft I've owned. I've owned a couple of them over the years. But yeah, recently Starcraft got a hold of me and asked if I'd like to be part of Team Starcraft, and I said yeah, for sure. I explained to him that I don't fish full time. I only fish 1 day a week, and I don't fish many tournaments anymore, that type of thing. But and they said, well, we enjoy your YouTube videos, and they've actually used some of them in some of their training seminars.
Is that right?
Yeah. So they said, just keep doing what you're doing. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and they sent me a bunch of nice clothing. And
if I want to check out the different models.
Look at this, baby. Like I can look at that. This thing's gonna keep me warm.
That's how you hide.
That's how I hide
when you're fishing.
Yeah.
You don't want all the people crowding you.
Yeah, that's it.
If I want to see the latest Starcraft models, where do I go?
Well, you could go to your local dealer. For us, it's Happy Days Boat Center here in Windsor, and Jay and Chris, they'd love to help you out. And Chris is an amazing mechanic. Like he takes so much.
He does mine.
Yeah, he takes so much pride in what he does there, and they're good. They're excellent. So yeah, and I told Starcraft too. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I'd be promoting your product in my video, even if I wasn't Team Starcraft, just because I love my boat. I
love that boat, man.
Yeah,
I love that boat.
You always said that someday you might go with the tiller again.
You never invite me.
I invite you all the time.
When?
But you just you every time I say let's go trolling, you kind of turn your head like this slowly. So
We're gonna go catfishing on that
Yes.
thing this year. We're gonna get some big cats this year,
yeah.
right by your house.
Okay, we're gonna do it. Maybe we'll go with your daughter, or yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Or
well,
maybe we'll
listen-
do one trip for silver bass on my boat. We'll do one trip on your boat for fishing river
You
canards.
said you would take me trolling planer boards for bass.
Oh, that's something. Yeah. Anyways,
That's a whole.
I don't want to
other-
give up a spot, but there's one spot on the river.
Don't say it.
Yeah,
Don't say it.
I think we could. I think we could pull some bass on those inline boards. So we're gonna try that someday.
Largemouth
No, smallies.
in the lily pads.
No.
Guys, thanks for joining us.
Open
today
water, Johnny. Open water.
with the boards. Thank you guys for joining us this week. Come on out to the open house and a seminar night here, and Grateful Anglers checking out.
Yeah, thanks guys. We love yous all. Keep subscribing. We only need like what 30 some odd subscribers to
We'll get
hit that. We're gonna get there. We're in no rush.
Spring's coming.
Spring's coming, and guys, like I say, there's already guys out there catching limits. But be careful, you know. Look at the winds, look at the weather, and things are a little different this time of year. People can't get out there to help you if you're alone right away. So think about it before you go, and make sure the conditions are right.
Excellent.
And you still got a few huts for sale if people are heading up to Simcoe, right?
There's 14 inches on Lake Nipissing right now.
Wow. And do you still have
We
lots
got
of ice
everything.
fishing gear?
We got everything here. Come on out.
He's got these beautiful huts, and guys, come check them out.